Hey guys, how you doing? Steve Lav here. On this video here, I got asked if I could do a little video on, how to become a plumber. I got quite a few guys asking me about that and different situations on, what's the best way to go about it. And I'm gonna try to explain, what I went through, what it takes to become a plumber. There's different levels of being a plumber, and also what's entailed under the license in my state. I live in Massachusetts, so we have our own plumbing code in Massachusetts, and the rest of the country is the Boca code. I know some guys watch me from over in the UK, and the plumbers over there are different. There's gas engineers and there's plumbers over there in the UK. In my state, the gas license falls under the plumbing. So if you're a plumber, that's half of the gas license is half of the plumbing license is gas. So you could be just what they call a gas fitter. And when we do our continuing education, you only have to take like 3 hours, which a plumber has to take 6. So that's why it's good to have a plumbing license in Massachusetts, because you can work on gas, and that's a big thing. That's a big thing. So um, there's 3 licenses. There's an apprentice license or apprentice card. Then there's a journeyman license, and there's a master license. Now, a journeyman plumber, what you have to do is, to get the journeyman license, you have to work for a master plumber for 4 years, plus you have to go to night school to be able to, and you got to get your time in working for that master plumber. You got to have 4 years in, sent to the state before you can go for the license. Then once you become a journeyman, you got to work for a year, and then you could go for your masters. All right, guys. Sorry about that phone ringing. As a journeyman plumber, you could work with the tools, and you could have your own business. You can't have a corporation or an LLC if you're a journeyman plumber, and you cannot hire anybody. You cannot hire any apprentices, or you cannot hire any other journeyman. So you could work with the tools with a journeyman license by yourself, and you could run a business like a DBA. That's all you could do. As a master, okay, you can hire journeyman plumbers, and you can hire apprentice plumbers. So it's better to have, the journeyman and the masters. They just changed the law now where I think you can drop the journeyman if you had the masters, but it was for years and years you had to have both. So basically the masters is to run the business, and the journeyman is to work with the tools. So that's how the 2 licenses work in my state. And like I said, being able to work on the gas stuff is really big in my state. So it's good to have the license. It's a hard license to get because you have to put the time in. Now, there's a lot of guys that will hire kids and do it under the table and pay them under the table. Well, that time doesn't count. You have to get that apprentice card, and you have to show all that time, working for the master plumber. You have to send all that into the state. So it's not an easy thing to do. And a lot of times it's more of like a family thing. Like my father was a plumber, so he got me in with the shop that he was working for. And they're making it harder and harder and harder on guys to become plumbers. It's not an easy thing. And now the plumbing falls under the Board of Health. So that's why, with water heaters and all kinds of water connections and backflow preventers, that's all under the Board of Health, because you can contaminate the city and this and that. So it's definitely a good license to get. Now, I'm just doing this video to try to help out some of these guys that keep asking me these questions. I know a lot of guys that go to school for plumbing, night school, and then they get a job for a year or 2 years, and they never get the 4 years, and they never get the journeyman license. I know guys that did the whole time, couldn't pass the journeyman license. They're still apprentices. These guys been working in the field for years and years and years, and they can't pass the test. Test is kind of tough. It's a tough test. You have to know that code book. The code book's like, man, it's this thick. There's a lot of stuff in there. And it's a lot of stuff. Now, down south and stuff, I know, like, there's different guys that can work on gas, and they're not plumbers, but I'm talking my state, I don't know what plumbers are like in Arizona. I'm talking my state. So Hopefully that helps. Now, what I recommend you do is if you're living in Arizona and you want to become a plumber, find out what's involved to become it. You might not have to do the 4 years. You might be able to work on gas down there. I don't know. It's different. So I've been asked to do this video a couple of times, so I figured I would do it. Hopefully I don't piss off too many people. The other thing I want to mention too is, you don't need to have a license to be a good mechanic. You don't have to have, it's good to have schooling. I do not regret going through my apprenticeship. I went through my 4-year apprenticeship, and I don't regret it at all because it made me a better person. I was in the union, and I went through the union school, and plus I worked for the master plumber for 4 years, and I worked with a lot of different journeymen and a lot of good guys that I learned a lot from. Respect them guys. You're working in the trade for 20, 30 years. You get a lot of knowledge, and it's not easy being an apprentice. That's another thing. You guys think just because you're gonna once you become an apprentice, a lot of times them journeymen will kind of like use you as a scapegoat and do jokes on you, and it's all part of it. It's all part of coming up in the trade. So if you want to be a plumber, I recommend that you try to get in with a company somewhere and be a good worker and try to do your best. If you're a good worker and you do your best, they'll keep you. They'll keep you going. It's all about being worth the money. When you start off, you're not going to be making a lot, and then every year you make a little bit. It's all about getting your ticket. I know guys that are out there working. Their boss is a master plumber, and they don't even have their time in. Or they got their time in, but they never got registered, and they're just working. See, in my state, you can't do that. They'll lock your ass up. They're really cracking down on that stuff. So it is what it is. So anyway, I try not to do nothing that I'm not licensed to do or not trained in the area to do. A lot of these guys out there are handymen, and they do this and they do that. And if the state calls for you to be licensed to be able to work on a unit, you really should, be licensed. Because if you're hiring somebody that's not insured or licensed and something happens, your house burns down or blows up or you have a big flood and this guy's a handyman. He shouldn't be working on plumbing work or gas work, and your house is a problem. The insurance company's going to ask you that stuff. So I ain't got nothing against handyman. I ain't got nothing against them. I'm just saying if you're licensed to do the work, you could do it, especially with gas and and stuff like that. You could really have a big problem, blow your house up, or it's really scary stuff. That's why I always say, be trained or hire a professional doing this stuff. So for the young guys that want to get into the trade, there's different trades. There's heating and air conditioning. Some guys just do heating and air. And then if they got a gas furnace they need hooked up, they'll hire a plumber to do the gas work. Or if they doing a boiler, they'll hire a plumber to hook up the water pipe to it. It is what it is. So there's a lot of different arenas. I do a lot. I do plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. I do all, I do a lot of different stuff. Oil burners. A lot of guys don't do that. Some guys just do heating and air. Some guys just do duct work. We don't work on hydraulics. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of different areas where you could learn and grow. And I just would recommend that you guys just be good workers and try to do good work, because your work's going to be like a trophy. It's going to be there forever. You do an install, and the pipes are nice and straight and neat, that thing's going to be there for 20, 30 years. You do a hack job and the pipes are all crooked and bent and stuff, and you leave there because you're in a big rush to go home, 100 people see that thing. The pipes are all... I try to do good work. I really do. I don't want to leave a mess, any like grapes on the solder joints and stuff. I'll wipe all that off. I want it clean. It's going to be like a trophy. Even if it's in a wall and you cover it up, somebody rips that wall down in the future and says, who did this mess? And your name's attached to it. It's not good. Try to do good work. And there's a lot of different arenas in the plumbing industry, on residential I'm talking. If you're working commercial, it's a little bit different. I used to work commercial first 12 years. I was in the union, and I did all commercial work. And then I went on my own, and I branched out, and I did residential work, which I like to run in the residential arena myself. And, there can be some nasty work doing plumbing work. Like if you're going to change a main stack in a house going up in a 3-family house and it's all nasty and rotted and stuff, me as a business owner, I don't have to take them jobs if I don't want. Working on faucets and, doing drains in the sinks and stuff. That's not all that nasty. It's not really all that bad. If you're going to be working on shit pipe and stuff like that, ripping all that, that could get nasty. I'm saying probably 5% of plumbing can be really nasty as far as I'm concerned. The rest is not bad. But you notice I always wear gloves. And because it can be a nasty job. I don't work on main sewer drains. I don't like doing main sewer drains. I could buy the equipment. I don't like it. I just refer someone else. I just tell them I don't do it. I do what I want to do. I'm not crawling around in the crawl spaces of houses either. I don't want to be a G.I. Joe crawling around in the houses. I just tell the people I don't do it, Call a young guy. I'll work in a full cellar. I'll go down the street. There's another call. I'll go down the street, work in a full cellar. He wants me to crawl under the house with all the dead possums and stuff under there. Nah, I'm not doing it, mama. Not doing it. If you're working for someone, maybe you have to do it. I don't know. Steve Loud, not doing it. I'm going to go down the road and work in a full cellar down there. But anyway, I'll send a dog down there. She'll work down in the crawl space. Together, because I do get a lot of questions, people asking me about, plumbing and this and that. I like being a plumber. I got no issue with it. I like the heating, and I like the oil burner working on gas. I like running gas pipe, and I like working on air conditioners too. So I kind of like to do it all myself. I got nothing, but there's good money in plumbing. Don't think that there's not. There's good money in it. Very good. Well, over in the UK, I don't know, it might be a little bit different. I see the way the plumbers over there work. It's like, that stuff is like altogether different. And then they watch my videos and they're saying, oh my God, I can't believe you do stuff like that. It's like, yeah, well, that's, how we do things over here. Over there, it's all push joints and it's different. It's different. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and more videos to come. I got a whole bunch locked and loaded. I try not to release too many. I release one a day. All right, have a good day. She's eating an apple, Mama. She's eating an apple. An apple a day. Keeps the doctor away. She's a leaker, Mama. She's a leaker.